Ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars and grab your popcorn because what's coming on Wednesday could flip the stock market right up on its head. Forget Jackson Hole and the Federal Reserve Chair's monologues. We're talking about Nvidia, the tech titan that set the stage for the most anticipated earnings report in years. Imagine a drum roll so loud that Dan Ives, one of Wall Street's leading tech bulls, can't hear himself think. That's the kind of hype we're talking about right here, everyone. It's a moment that could make or break the tech bull market, all hinging on Nvidia's quarterly earnings. And Dan Ives is predicting this to be a mic drop moment for Nvidia and for the tech market as a whole in the future. Just meeting expectations is not going to be enough for the investors, but Dan Ives predicts Nvidia to shatter those expectations and go well beyond them into the stratosphere. Jensen Huang, the godfather of AI, as Dan Ives likes to call him, is about to reveal how well his state-of-the-art graphics processors are fueling the AI gold rush. Is Nvidia set to soar or stumble? Stay tuned, as this could be the defining moment for Nvidia, potentially affecting giants like Tesla and major investors like Elliott Management. Hello everyone and welcome back to Investocracy.
Let's now turn to the next big test for the markets, however. That's Nvidia earnings. They're coming up Wednesday after the bell. Britton, coming to you. You own Nvidia.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's any surprise. It would be surprising if their numbers weren't great. I mean, Jensen is a showman, but he's got the goods to back it up. I think they're going to have huge numbers. I mean, I've been saying this all along. If you listen to any of their earnings calls from the hyperscalers, what are they doing? They're increasing CapEx. They're continuing to spend. And we also heard from AMD. They had great numbers. And Lisa Su, I think, will confirm what Jensen Huang will say about the continued trajectory and the spend, whether it's from the VCs or the hyperscalers. I would not be surprised if they have a massive beat and guide higher. It would be, to me, shocking if they didn't.
All right, totally shocking. Josh, we were actually just here talking about this yesterday. You pointed out the incredible estimates when it comes to revenue, 112% year-over-year growth, EPS 125%. I was speaking to Dan Ives on my show, Worldwide Exchange, earlier today. He says Nvidia not only has to meet those expectations, has to beat them and even raise guidance. Do you agree?
Yes, and I pointed out we're looking for 100% plus growth for revenue and 130 some odd percent growth for earnings. And it's not out of the question that they have an unbelievable quarter, but it's not 137, it's 132. And the market decides to whack 10% off of this stock. It's a high beta name, and it does have a lot of sensitivity in the short term. But the good news is Nvidia has reported now 6 straight quarters of sales and earnings per share beats, and they've raised guidance each time. So that's why the estimates are as lofty as they are. But this is a company that markets have been repeatedly waiting to make a misstep. If you've been betting against it after each of the last 6 quarters, you've been covering higher. It has not been fun. So look, that's what you're up against with this name. Stock is coming into next week about 9% off its highs. At its low during the recent volatility, it was down as much as 27%. That probably would have been a better time to start a new position than today, especially ahead of earnings. I don't know that that's something that I would want to do, but the stakes are high, I think, for the overall market. The last thing on this, if you listen to the conference calls, Microsoft, Meta, these are the biggest customers, and really what they say matters the most. The hyperscalers, none of them are pulling back on spending. Not one of them. And actually, Zuckerberg raised the bar. I think he's going to spend like another $40 billion or something. So that's good news if you're along in the name. Their top customers are not talking about anything other than full speed ahead, at least for now.
On the surface, it may seem like another quarterly earnings call, but anyone entrenched in the tech world should know better than to discredit one of the most important days, if not the most important day for tech companies and the future of the AI market. Nvidia, known primarily for revolutionizing the gaming industry with its high-end graphics cards, now stands as the cornerstone of the AI revolution. Dan Ives from Wedbush Securities is so bullish, he practically roars, suggesting this could be the most critical earnings call in years. But what could get him to be this giddy and exciting? Describing an event in his words like 9 p.m. in the AI party that stays till 4 a.m. is not mere words thrown together. It is an appropriate description of what may define the future of tech companies in the stock market. But before we go through it, if you want to keep up with Nvidia's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates.
What about the questions, the air pocket between different iterations of their chips, some of their customers making their own chips, and the fact that the AI enthusiasm seems to be dying down? You're not concerned about any of that?
Yeah, so it's hit on them. For a delayed 2 to 3 months, I view that as sort of an asterisk. In other words, this is not moving the needle in terms of from a demand perspective. When you talk about AI in terms of some of the hype, look what we saw from the hyperscalers. Amazon, Google, Microsoft, what Nadella talked about, what Lisa Su and AMD, the Messi of AI, Palantir in terms of the use cases. It's showing that now the second, third, fourth derivatives are just starting to play out. So when I look at what the godfather of AI, Jensen and Nvidia are doing, we're talking about transformation. I believe a year from now, this is a $4 trillion market cap along with Apple and Microsoft.
This kickstart has tech investors stirring in their seats. Nvidia's future could very well be the linchpin for the entire tech bull market. For those unfamiliar, Nvidia's graphics processors, originally designed for gaming, are now indispensable in AI, so much so that even Google's former CEO Eric Schmidt had to remind everyone who is running the scene right now, even at the expense of putting down his former workplace in Google, and stating how they were so slow for the AI race that they are practically losing right now. Unlike conventional CPUs, Nvidia's GPUs execute multiple computations simultaneously, making them perfect for hefty AI tasks, like operating OpenAI's ChatGPT, for example. Huang's GPUs have become the backbone of data centers and massive compute clusters, forming powerful neural networks vital for generative AI.
By the way, you changing his last name. It's Jensen Nvidia. It's not Jensen Huang anymore. You just decided?
Look, this is...
You're making decisions. I want to get back to your note. According to your research, for every dollar spent on Nvidia chips, it kind of flows through to the rest of the tech sector to $8 to $10. What does that mean for some of these other stocks?
That's the most important thing. Because remember, it's not just about Nvidia. It's about the multiplier. It's about the revolution, the $1 trillion of CapEx. For every dollar spent on an Nvidia chip, there's an 8 to 10 multiplier across the rest of tech. That's why it's so important in terms of what Nvidia says for this bull market to continue.
So you're saying it's a broad tailwind. It's not just it's a rising tide that's going to lift all boats.
Because it's not just
even in software, because software seems to be under pressure, or at least it was when it comes to this AI craze, and it seems like a lot of the money that was going to software has gone to chips.
But even next week, you'll hear from Benioff and Salesforce. What are they focused on? AI. Look at McDermott and ServiceNow. In other words, it's just starting now. The software wave is a second, third derivative. That's why I think we're sitting here a year from now, NASDAQ 20,000, and it continues because now the rest of this party, it is only 9 p.m. in the AI party
that goes to
that
when?
we believe it goes to 4 a.m.
To 4? Not to sunrise, but it stops at 4.
4 a.m. And look, will there be times music stops and there's glass in the floor? Yeah. But right now, what we hear next week, it shows this party, the music continues to play on.
But let's lace our excitement with a dose of reality. With all eyes on Nvidia, some can't help but see echoes of Black Monday from August 5th. Hedge fund Elliott Management, for instance, sees Nvidia's valuations bordering on bubble territory. Can Nvidia keep pace with these sky-high expectations? Amid the buzz, whispers have surfaced about potential delays in Nvidia's next-generation Blackwell architecture and its flagship B200 chip. The possibility of a slowdown has already set jittery sentiments through the market. Supermicrocomputer's CEO, Charles Liang, has preemptively adjusted his fiscal year revenue expectations, perhaps a foreshadowing of what's yet to come. And as if that wasn't enough, Elon Musk is taking no chances, doubling down on Tesla's custom AI silicon, a telltale sign he's not banking entirely on Nvidia. However, let's not forget who's in the driver's seat. Jensen Huang has often been lauded for his strategic acumen. Dan Ives believes Huang will deliver another masterpiece and asserts the AI boom is more reminiscent of the early dot-com surge than the infamous crash. In other words, we're in the youthful, thriving stage, not the downhill doom. Backing this sentiment, consider how Amazon and Microsoft have flocked to Nvidia's GPUs. Microsoft's AI initiatives and Amazon's AWS are benchmarked on Nvidia's technology, showing no signs of waning demand. Even if next-gen delays materialize, Huang's company controls a staggering 90% of the AI training chip market, a figure powerful enough to instill optimism. So what does all of this mean for Nvidia stock investors? The answer is easy, but before going through it, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
I know tech is really your wheelhouse, but you look at the broader market as well. We're going to show a chart. This is the Mag 7 and the S&P equal weight since the start of this quarter. The equal weight outperforming the Mag 7. When it comes to that Mag 7 trade, how important are these earnings? We had our data team run the numbers. Implied volatility post-earnings, 10% up or down. What do you think this report does to that mega cap tech trade, that AI trade, et cetera?
They're the torchbearers of this rally that continues. And I think it's just the start. Look what's happened with Apple in terms of the new iPhone launch. The AI story will be led.
So Nvidia stops the broadening? Because that's what we're seeing right now with equal weight. It's the broadening of the market. People are putting their money in other places, especially cyclicals, ahead of a cut. So you're saying that this report could actually change some of those flows?
Oh, I think it does. And I think ultimately tech will lead the market higher from a large cap perspective. We look into year end, and I think Mag 7 actually outperforms. But again, many have been skeptical. The bears in hibernation mode, they've been negative on big tech for the last few years. But when it comes down to numbers, when it comes down to this revolution, this is the 1995, almost 1996 moment, but not a 1999 bubble moment.
As Wednesday looms, investors will find themselves on the edge of their seats. The stakes are high, and the repercussions could reverberate across the market. Nvidia may confirm continued sky-high demand for its AI chips, causing tech bulls to rampage with glee. If Huang's masterpiece of a quarter is in the cards, Dan Ives's dot-com-era optimism will seem prophetic rather than overly bullish. For those pondering whether to jump on the Nvidia bandwagon, consider this. The likes of Amazon, Microsoft, and Tesla are relying on Nvidia's technology in significant parts of their AI developments. The company's current standing, coupled with potential positive forecasts, paints a compelling future. As of today, Nvidia stocks hover at impressive heights, and various forecasts highlight its growth trajectory, indicating the AI boom is just gaining momentum. Are you intrigued by the prospects that Nvidia's future holds? Curious about the tech behemoth and how it plans to keep its stratospheric trajectory? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Whether you're an ardent investor or simply fascinated by technological strides in AI, your perspective matters. Drop your comments and let the conversation flow. This is an unfolding narrative with potentially lucrative chapters still being written, and your opinion is part of this journey. Let's see where this exciting saga takes us next. And finally, if you would like to know what companies like Nvidia have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen.